Hi guys, it's me JB. I said I'd do an in-depth video on where it's all gone wrong the last couple of years for Burnley. Firstly, I want to remind the players of what the club badge looks like. This is the club badge that you should all be wearing with bloody pride. Instead, you are just going through the bloody motions, half of you in that Burnley squad, and you're just not good enough, right? Now, as you can see, guys, I'm wearing black. And yesterday was another black mark, another black day in what's been a disastrous season for Burnley Football Club thus far. This is the reality of being a Burnley fan. We were beaten 2-0 by Norwich. Yes, they should have had, as I alluded to last night, Louise Mellieu should have been sent off. Grant Hanley possibly sent off for an elbow. But having said all that, we weren't good enough. Apart from Dwight McNeil, no one Gebber down again yesterday. Cornet missing an easy chance. Westwood nowhere to be seen on the ball. I'm going to touch on these problems and more. And I'm going to touch on Sean Dyche a little bit because I really want to lay into him. There are 5 fundamental reasons why we're in this position where we are now. And it's not just this season, it's been the season before. A combination of the last 2, maybe 3, 4 seasons where we've sailed too close to the winds. Apart from, I think it was the season that was heavily interrupted with the COVID pandemic, where we finished 10th, which was actually a decent position, and we got away with some really good results. Otherwise, it would have been bottom. But let me go back 4 years to when we qualified for Europe, and we, second season we got in. A lot of people expected us to go down second season after finishing 16th the first year. We worked a lot of results and we got into 7th place, which, to be quite honest, for Burnley, that was a heck of an achievement. To get 7th place was an unbelievable achievement. And we were in Europe, which had never happened in my lifetime. Before then, you'd have to go back to 1966-67 season. When we played in the Fairs Cup, and then before that 60-61 when we won the league European Cup. But that was the time Mike Garlick should have then dipped his hand in his pocket and improved the playing squad. Instead, we brought Joe Hart in, another goalkeeper that we didn't obviously need, although we weren't to know at the time that Tom Heaton and Nick Pope were going to get injured. So we had to bring in a goalkeeper in. I wanted a new striker. I believed that we needed a bit more of an overall of the squad. There were players that were getting quite old. Thankfully, we had Tom Heaton and we had a young Dwight McNeil coming in and doing really, really well towards the second half of the season. And we stayed up with 4 games to spare. This is going to be even tighter this time around. But this is one of the reasons why. There are 5 fundamental reasons why I believe that we might end up running out this year. Okay. Reason number 1. Previous chairman, Mike Garlick. Since that season, right, we have not spent enough money. We haven't bought enough quality to improve the playing squad in order to keep doing well in every competition. We've always had to prioritise the league over the cups, which I understand, but it is frustrating for certain supporters like me who would like a cup run. I'd like a trip to Wembley once in my life. Let's face it, Burnley are never expected to win any of the trophies that are on offer. We're never going to win the Premier League. That's a pipe dream, right? But you've got to win 6 games to win the FA Cup. The furthest we've got is the 5th round, but we haven't invested enough in the squad. As soon as we go into Europe, we should have invested a lot more as a squad, got a bit more quality in, that we would have been able to, if we had gone into the Europa League proper, we could have been, we could have had a strong enough squad and had a sustained run for a number of years and finish very consistently in the league. That didn't happen, and that's Mike Garlick's fault. He's just sat there and let the squad aged. His lack of investment has fundamentally cost us. We had one season where we finished 10th. The season we were in Europe, we finished 16th, and that was due to the good form of Tom Heaton, Dwight McNeil, Chris Wood, several others, galving together in the second half of the season. Otherwise, we would have been doing that season. Then we had that COVID season where we finished 10th. And that's where all the problems started to unravel for us at the start of the season. We had players that were out of contract. They were not replaced by Mike Garlick for whatever reason. We brought in Josh Brownhill. There was a couple of other signings. They weren't good enough. Fundamentally, they weren't good enough. And as a result, I think we finished 17th when the fans weren't there. Yeah, we won a few games. We won at Arsenal. We won at Liverpool and places like that. But fundamentally, we finished 17th. Yes, we finished 10 points above third bottom Fulham. But the point was, it was a horrible season. You know, we had injuries. We had suspensions. We just couldn't cope. And the squad was threadbare. And then Mike Garlick sold the club, to my happiness, to Alan Pace, who's, to be honest with you, has been left with a very, very difficult job to get Burnley out of a mess that Mike Garlick left them in because of his lack of investment. So for reason number one, Mike Garlick, I think he has been, he has put us in that position with his Scrooge-like mentality and his unwillingness to part with a few quid. And you know, I think in the last window there, I think we spent only £1 million, which isn't good enough. You know, we were, you know, in that stage, we were 5 years a Premier League team and having banked so much money. I know we haven't had the fans. I know there wasn't gate receipts. I know there wasn't this. I know there wasn't that. But it's not an excuse, really. So that's the first reason. Second reason is Sean Dyche. Now, listen, I don't want to knock Sean Dyche anymore, right? He's been colossal for Burnley Football Club over the last decade and more. You know, we were going nowhere under the previous manager, Eddie Howe. He came in, kept us up in the Championship. Then we got that one season where we had, I think, about 20 players on the books. We had 2 fit strikers and we got promotion out of nowhere. Then we got relegated, having had a brave run at it, and then we came back up as champions. With you know, with that, you know, who can forget 23 undefeated? It was terrific. You know, I still have the cup there. You may have seen at the top of the thing with champions on it, and that reminds me of happier times at Burnley Football Club. Certainly through this season, anyway. And then he's kept us up 5 years in the Premier League now. But the problem I've got with Dyche, certainly in the last 2 or 3 seasons, is his stubbornness to move away from 4-4-2 and actually play some actual attractive football instead of hoofing it up into the stratosphere. I went to watch Burnley against Liverpool and I was in the top tier of the Hargreaves stand with my brother's fiance's nephew, I think, and we spent half the time looking up in the sky where the ball was going. Because it was just hoofball, kick and rush. It was in the stratosphere. Brian Clough once said that football isn't made to be played in the ground. It's supposed to be played on the deck. And unfortunately, Sean Dyche has not read his former manager's script and has decided to kick and rush and God knows what else. And we've been doing it for far, far too long. Now, Dyche should have evolved tactically in the Premier League. The first 2 or 3 seasons, you can get away with doing that, because teams will take you that amount of time to find you out. The last 2 seasons, though, we have been found out. We were lucky to stay up last year, I'll admit. This year, we may not be so lucky because the results haven't been there. I mean, 4 wins all season. Another criticism with Dyche, he doesn't take the cup seriously enough. Again, furthest we got in the FA Cup is the 5th round, and then when we reach that, we get knocked out by teams like Bournemouth and Lincoln and then non-league. That was the worst feeling being a Burnley fan when Lincoln knocked us out. Sadly, I was there that day. So he hasn't evolved, and teams have found us out. and it's just not been good enough. I can't stress enough why that has been the case. Um, and then there's the problem. Then we move on to the third reason. Um, the third reason, which is basically the players. Some of the attitudes this season, or the last two seasons, have stunk. Now I'm going to pick on certain individuals, and this might upset a few people. Dwight McNeil. Now, okay, I praised him yesterday, but that's one game, right? Where's he been for the other 30 games this season? I'll tell you where he's been. His head has been frigging in the clouds. He's been nowhere. He's been absolutely shit, right? You know, when we needed him against, Chelsea, when he fuffed those two chances, when he had a chance to cross and then gave Trevor Chalobah a chance to clear. That's the sort of attitude. It's not just this season. His attitude is coming to question. Last season as well, he just isn't tracking back. He isn't helping people out. He doesn't do this. He doesn't do that. He doesn't take on his men enough as he should have done when he first came into the side. When he came into the side, he was a good, terrific, talented player that come through the academy at Turkmore. Rejected by Manchester United. We gave him an olive branch. He took it. And he took it very, very well to start with. He came in against, trying to think now, West Ham and Huddersfield. He gave us a bit of something different. Then the last 2 years, it hasn't been there. For whatever reason, I don't know whether it's attitude or whether he's going through the motions or whether it's a lack of confidence, but something's not there from Dwight McNeil. It certainly isn't. He's a talented... Listen, I'm not going to knock him because he's got a talent. I don't like knocking him because he's a talent, and I'm sick of saying his name every week when results go awry. But he is one of the key reasons why we're down there. Same you could be said by James Tarkowski, unfortunately. The man doesn't want to sign a new contract. I understand why he doesn't want to sign a new contract. Yes, he's ambitious. Yes, he wants to go elsewhere. But when you're at that football club, when you're at Burnley Football Club, you give 110% every fucking game. And he clearly hasn't all season long. Because his head has been turned. All he's interested in is getting a better club, right? The only way you can get a fucking better club, Tarkowski, is by actually producing on the field. Ridiculous. Another reason why we're not doing well this season, Ashley West, Dyche's, certain players shouldn't even be in the team. Ashley Westwood is another example. He's been absolutely pap. Last season he was brilliant. The last 2 or 3 years before this season, his corner kick routines were spot on the money. This season it has been fundamentally poor. He's been missing in midfield so many times. Him and Brownhill just don't hit it off as a midfield twosome. I think Brownhill's more effective when Jack Cork's in the middle. That's just a personal opinion. Now I actually have criticised Jack Cork in the past. Not recently. He's been in good form. Yeah, picked up a slight knock, but that didn't mean he should lose his place in the side. And as soon as he was fit, he should have been back in that side as an automatic first choice. If I was the manager, I would have put him back in. Right? Why is he playing an out-of-form Ashley Westwood? It's undermining the confidence of the squad. It took 30 games for him to actually drop Dwight McNeil. And you saw the results of that. Has Dyche left it too late with certain players? Pope has been colossus for us. Ben Mee in certain stages has been brilliant. The winner against Tottenham. Taylor's been a little bit off form this season. I mean, I think we probably missed Eric Peters, to be honest. I think our more experienced players not being there hasn't helped. Aaron Leonard's had a decent season, to be fair. He scored some cracking goals against Manchester United, and he scored another good goal against someone else. I can't remember, but just 5 wins all season, it isn't good enough. I look at the squad. It's needed major surgery. Now, Maxwell Cornet was brought in. He's got 6 goals. I think it's 6 or 7 this season. Winner against Everton the other night. He scored some terrific volleys. It's just but unfortunately he's been a victim of the Sean Dyche syndrome. But so certain players haven't performed well enough, or they haven't produced even 50% of what they're capable of, and that's the third fundamental reason. Fourth thing, Dyche's transfer policy. Now, Dyche he doesn't, only this season has he started using or trying to look for flair players. But the transfer policy, we've stuck. The January one wrangles with me a little bit. I don't think we did do badly in the summer window last year. We bought Cornet in. I think Nathan Collins has been an excellent signing. And Connor Roberts, when he's played, he's done okay. In the last couple of games, he's just been down a notch. And obviously Matt Lawton's come in and tried to steady the ship. I still think Connor Roberts has got to learn a bit more defensively rather than attacking wise, because when he's attacking, he's a very good player. Unfortunately, when he's defending, he's not so good, and can get drawn in a bit. It's the January window really when we needed it most that's really frustrated me as a Burnley fan, because we had several opportunities to sign other players. Now we stuck every single egg into the basket of Orzic, the Croat that we nearly signed a couple of days before the end of the window. Alan Pace had gone out to do the deal, and then obviously his head was turned by whatever reason. I think there was the ultras that had something to do with it. If we'd have signed him, I think he could have made a big difference to the squad, and it would have added much more than what we've already got in midfield, and I think it would have given the players a boost. We thought Vigos was going to be a good signing, 12 million quid. We sold Chris Wood for 25. That was another dodgy deal done by Mike Garlick. Why you write a clause like that into a contract, I will never know. Mike Garlick should take the blame, because even though he only got 3 goals, I still think Wood was a threat for us, for Burnley. Unfortunately, they signed Vigos thinking he was going to be a Chris Wood type striker, and I think, unfortunately, Dyche's tactics don't play to Vigos' strengths. He got dragged off yesterday, quite rightly so. It's, I don't know, but the Orzic deal has wrangled with me ever since the end of the window. I know we got Vigos in, but it was small consolation when Orzic could have made the massive difference to our midfield, and that bitterly disappointed me. So the transfer policy and the way Dyche goes about his signings, I think we're too slow. So that's another fundamental reason why we're in this position. And the fifth and the most damning of all, Dyche reluctance to play certain players when they deserved a chance. Jack Cork being one. Matty Vidra. Why was he not given a fucking chance? He did more in 10 minutes on Wednesday night than Vigos did for 60 minutes yesterday. It was a fucking disgrace. So that was just a quick fifth reason there. Yeah, that's 5 reasons why we've done badly this season. Now, worst case scenario, if we get relegated, should Dyche go? Possibly. And I say that because Burnley fans think that Dyche is still God. Certain ones do anyway. And they think he's a good man, good enough to get them out of the Championship. Now let's just make one thing completely crystal clear here. The Championship has moved on since 2016. It's 7 years since we've been there. Now, if we do go down, which is a very big possibility right now, considering the way results went, Everton winning, deserved result actually against Manchester United. I've never denied that. And then us getting done at Norwich yesterday. This now leaves the Championship a distinct possibility for us next season. We lose revenue, we lose 150 million quid. I don't think the players realise this is going to impact on the club. It's going to impact on them, their pockets, their wage budget, their wages will go down significantly. Half of them will piss off anyway. But they don't care. I think half of the squad don't seem to care what the consequences of relegation might be. And then there's the manager's role in all of this. I think Dyche has been found out and he will not move away from his fucking principles of hoofing it up the field. Just not good enough. Just not good enough. And I think when you look at that and you think, well, just, the stats don't lie. You know what I mean? It's just, I've had enough. I'll support Burnley Football Club till thick and thin, but I just want to end by this. You lot need to know what badge you're wearing on your bloody shirt, because that is the team you represent. These are the fans you fucking represent, right? Don't let anyone lead down. It is an absolute disgrace what you're doing to Burnley Football Club right now, because I tell you now, lads, if we get relegated, I tell you what, there will be a massive, massive inquest into why this has gone so horribly wrong. The transfer business, certain attitudes of players who shouldn't even be in the fucking team, players that have not been given a chance in the team, like Matty Vidra and Jack Cork, and Nathan Collins at certain periods when Tarkowski has just let the side down. The previous board with their transfer business been absolutely crap. Can't blame the current chairman because he's tried his best. It's just not been good enough, and I'm fed up, and I'm frustrated, I'm angry, I'm this and I'm that, and I don't know how much more I can take of this nightmare of a season. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. I just needed to get this off my chest because I hate to say this, lads and lasses. I think relegation's probably the best possible, probably the worst case scenario now we can, or the most realistic scenario that's going to happen. That's why I'm wearing black today, because I think it's a very apt colour today. I'm not in a very good mood. I'm frustrated. I'm angry. I didn't feel like shouting today. Yesterday, I do a bit today because I've had time to sleep on it. And the more I think about it, the more angry I get. And it's frustrating. It's horrible. It's a horrible feeling. So, yeah, not good enough. Very, very frustrating. Thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to leave a like. Give me your comments down in the comment section below. I'm sure a lot of Burnley fans. I know Paul always gives his 2 pence on the games, on the videos. Anyone who isn't Burnley fans, what do you reckon now? Where do we go from here? I would like to know your comments. So please, be honest. Give me your honest opinions in the comments below, please. I'd like to hear from you. So thank you very much for watching. I'm sorry it's another one of those depressing videos again. But when your team are playing badly, what do you expect? Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you later.